All right, what's up now? This is gonna be. I swear, dude. I wanted to do this just in three parts because I was like, but wait a minute. Then he started getting into some. This is some old shit. So my problem with neo paganism, um, the finale. Merry Christmas, motherfuckers. Nobody's giving me no watches on these videos, or definitely no thumbs. That's okay, you know. Because what am I doing? Am I tarnishing your fucking idol? I have no idea. I thought I was fucking like brassing it up, nigga. Fuck, but go ahead, man. I need to fucking hold on. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna do a little bit down on that volume because he comes across real hot with his videos. Yeah.
Thomas, when did you
Let's go back up.
realize in your life, and how did it change your lifestyle when you first knew that our beautiful horned God is the Lord of this earth, or at least a partial architect of this 3D construct?
Well, before this motherfucker answers, because I just like, first of all, you sideways on. I didn't know because Tom's straight up. Lisa's straight up. This motherfucker sideways. He's asking about constructs, and I'm gonna let Tom answer before I answer because I'm gonna ridicule this motherfucker, whoever he is.
Oh, that's a big one.
Tom told you farted.
Like a lot of people, I was a rebellious teenager who, after leaving the church, decided to go find something new to fill that void, if you will. And most of what I found, I felt was complete nonsense.
All I want to say is this. Lisa is over there just like, when you see something like this, you know it's beautiful. It's like she got her man back. She like, man, what the fuck? Why they fucking with you, man? I don't even know who these people are, man. On the other side, you got somebody sitting in a weird chair and everything else. I don't know.
It was silly. It was, moo wearing hippies dancing around in circles. It wasn't my thing. And like a lot of people, I discovered the Satanic Bible. Now, I'm a San Francisco native, so Anton LaVey was an institution in the Bay Area. Everybody knew who he was. And
my sympathy,
it didn't matter
sir.
what bookstore you went to, his book was there, and a lot of times in the religious section, surprisingly.
We had a bunch of bookstores up here. I live Metro DC, so like we had a couple of them. One was in Old Town Alexandria, right off King Street, and that's where I got a lot of my grimoires, a lot of my early shit. This is when I was in high school. I couldn't drive yet, so I had to go fucking, catch a bus and then a cab. You'd catch a bus to a certain point, then you had to call a cab, etc. And it was like weird, because back then there were no cell phones. Back then to call a cab, you had to find one of them fucking. They used to have phones on the street. They called them pay phones. Remember that shit? Anywho, now we close to the end of this shit. I just, the running theme with Tom is Tom ain't playing no games with these, like hippy dippy ass. This is what it was. No, Tom understands what it was.
This was way back when. And also as a child, many, many times I had gone past his house, the Black House, because this foster home that I lived in, the foster mother used to like to shop on, I think it was a Sears store or something like that, on California Street or just off California. And that was where the Black House was. So often we'd pass by it, and most of the time she would clutch the steering wheel.
Hold up. The brother on the bottom right, it looks like his head is smoking. Did he set himself on fire or some shit? I don't know.
Knuckles would turn white, and one time she goes, Tommy?
You see what I'm saying?
An evil man lives in that house. And I thought, intriguing. I got to learn more about this evil man. So, late teens, I picked up the Satanic Bible. Besides that, I'm also a huge history buff. I'm obsessed with his history, especially ancient history. And because of that, I was somewhat drawn toward paganism, but not, like I said, the muumuu clad wearing type, you know what I mean? The soft paganism. I couldn't deal with that shit. And also being mostly of Celtic heritage, I got into Druidism. And I quickly discovered that modern Druidism, to quote the title of one of my videos, is bullshit. It was created in the late 18th century in Britain when they were going through their Celtic revival period. It's a lot of white-clad people marching around Stonehenge on the solstice and the equinoxes and so on and so forth, mumbling nonsense. And then later on, it got a really strong hippie vibe during the 60s. And just like I said, being the history buff that I am, I wanted a form of Druidism that was more like the way it should be, or at least the way I think it should be.
I'm going to tell you something you already know, Tom. History is a narrative. It's always asymptotic, meaning that it's always approaching a limit, but it's never going to get there. I do respect the fact that you want to know the realities that lie behind the realities we currently exhibit, meaning like what you might call the temporal links in the chain. I appreciate the fuck out of that. But you must understand, I know you do because you're a smart guy, you understand that that's always going to be an asymptote. You're never going to get there.
Nature is neither good nor bad.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? There's none of that Christian duality shit going on in nature. And if you are a truly nature-loving pagan, let's say, you got to accept the dark side. You really do. Otherwise, you're...
You know what's funny is, and maybe I've told it's not a joke, actually. It's a real story, but to my wife, it's a joke. It always will be. She's like, okay, so when you die, you want to be cremated. I'm like, when I die, you can take my body and throw it in the woods. For all I care. Just toss me in the woods. Nature will take care of me. I'll be able to, there'll be all kind of animals that will live because of my death. And trust me, I'm not there to fucking suffer it. Just make sure I'm dead first when you throw me in the woods. But what I'm saying is that, yeah, there is a balance to life. I mean, cremation is a sign of like you burn the flesh and then the smoke ascends to heaven. There's all kind of, but what I say is, because I don't need none of that. That's for you guys. I ain't there to experience it. Take my bitch ass body, my corpse, toss it in the goddamn woods. Problem motherfucking solved. Except nowadays they need an autopsy, they need to fucking verify the body, etc., etc. No, back in the day, man, just throw the motherfucker to the wolves, nigga.
Even out half of basically who you are. The shadow side, if you will. In the ancient pagans, all what we know of the ancient pagan faiths, those gods were like human beings. They weren't like Yahweh or well, Yahweh's kind of a dick, but they weren't like Jesus. Let's put it that way. Pure and good and so on and so forth. Like an example, Odin, one of my favorite gods.
One of mine too.
Odin was a very, very dark god.
100%
he did some really fucked up shit
100% he did.
To achieve what he wanted, and that
exactly.
was gnosis. Above anything else. He was willing to lie, cheat, steal, kill, you name it. But
double cross.
In the
100%.
I think it was the 13th century, Snorri Sturluson in Iceland.
You got to be careful with this motherfucker because the scholarship on this guy, it's like he might have been a Christian operative. That basically reconfigured their myths to make them more like Christian myths. I'm not sure I buy it. And the reason I'm not sure I buy it is because I am just woefully unprepared for that scholarship. I'll leave that to the scholars.
A lot of the early Norse tales, mythological
The
tales,
poetic
in
and
the
the
prose
prosaic,
Edda
yeah.
and the poetic Edda. And what he did is he turned Odin into sort of a Norse Yahweh.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because he was a Christian.
Okay,
But
so Tom gets the criticism. Okay, not my criticism. The criticism on Snorri is that he was basically a Christian op.
we should
Go
be
ahead, brother.
thankful that he at least documented
Exactly.
these myths and
100%,
so on.
100%, Tom.
But anyway, and that's how a lot of people.
Because that's the only way we have it. You understand what I'm saying? So he preserved something. Maybe he altered it a little bit. Maybe he did some. I think at the end of the day, I think we can kind of, well, not me. That's way outside of my fucking purview. But to leave it to the scholars to be able to to reconstruct the OG stories that were there. And I think they've done somewhat of a decent job. One of the things about Norse mythology, there are two things that I find fascinating. One is the Aesir and the Vanir, that dichotomy, because that's a clash of cultures, and that's their culture merging into one, two cultures merging into one. You can look at the Romans and the Sabines, for example, the rape of the Sabine women. I think is what the story is. You know what I'm saying? And then the second one is the story of Balder and the story of Ragnarok and what happens after, and how that Norse mythology is, in a sense, the only mythology that is not eschatological, in the sense of nothing really changes except the placeholders. I can make a video on that. Maybe I will, but let's just let you keep talking. And I don't. The guy in the bottom right hand corner, man, he looks like he's got something to say, but I don't know. It's not an X-Lax commercial, bro. The dude looks constipated like a motherfucker. The whole thing.
Nowadays, see paganism
as
there's a light half and there's a dark half and so on and so forth. And because of that, I felt it was important to inject the dark half back into it. You know what I mean? Because we're living in a society where there is that stark duality between the two.
No,
hence individuals lack wholeness. So, and also, well, we had, how the sect started, the organization. We were caretakers on a winery in Northern California.
Now, let me tell you how the sex started, motherfucker. The sex started when he came to me and said, do you want to be the high priest of this little thing that we got going on? And I'm like, high priest, what? What does that even mean? I'm kidding. I never got approached with a high priest. It was never a high priest position. I remember the winery. I always thought the sect went back a little further than the winery. I thought that was a concept that you had for a while, Tom. Just something, rolling around inside of your head. That's normally the way it works with creativity and stuff. By the way, if I haven't said it yet, because we still have some time left on Christmas, peace and blessings to you, brother. Peace and blessings to Lisa, your wife. Peace and blessings to anyone that you hold dear to you. That's my Christmas gift to you. Peace and blessings. And I don't know what I find wrong with the dude in the bottom right, but he just seems, all right, look, that brother seems a little bit too angry for the conversation that's being had. But that's just my opinion, motherfucker.
California, just outside the Napa Valley, which unfortunately burned down in one of the many fires we've had here in California.
We lived on that property for several years.
We owned a bookstore and so on and so forth. But anyway, we put on...
You notice how Lisa was quiet the whole video. And then when it came down to the house and the burning down, then she opened up. She's like, God damn it, no. That's a woman, dude. See, that's what I'm talking about. Men and women are different. Respect and love to both of y'all, man. Merry Christmas to both of y'all. Lisa and Tom, come on now.
Events. We put on a pagan festival. And...
it's painful.
Well, it was fun. Most of the people were really cool, actually. Even though, they were kind of fluffy bunny types. But still, they were pretty cool. And it wasn't it wasn't long after that I was thinking, we need to give the horn god back his testicles, because their interpretation of the horn god was, let's say, the goddess's boy toy.
I don't know how old you are. I'm pretty sure you're about the same age as me, maybe a little bit younger. But back in the day, the reintroduction of, and trust me, like I've told this story many times. Well, it's not one story, it's a bunch of stories. One of my earliest mentors, his name was Chris Cox. He was a neo-pagan. He taught me crystals, he taught me tarot, he taught me so many things. He was gay. And my mother knew he was gay, and she hated the fact that he was gay. And so she would tell me, I'm not allowed to go over to dude's house because he's going to try to rape you and this and the third. I'm like, no, he's just teaching me the occult. But I didn't say that, because if I say that, then I'm sent off to church, even though my mother doesn't go to church, which is eventually what happened. And it all worked out for the best. But the point being is that, like, you can't push somebody too far in one direction. Otherwise, you get that guy in the bottom right. It's like, God damn, dude. He looks like he wants to fight somebody. I know, brother.
You know what I mean? He wasn't that. He lacked an edge. Let's put it that way. So on November 1st, 2011, we started the organization.
That's the day before my birthday, motherfucker. That's All Saints Day. You did it on All Saints Day on purpose, because why? What is All Hallows Eve? It's the evening before All Saints Day. Oh, wait, I made videos on that. Never mind.
To basically, to give the horn god back his testicles, if you will.
All right, so that's it. Wow, I can't believe it took me this long to fucking do this fucking video. I'm not even sure if I'm still doing it anymore. I'm pretty sure I am. But yeah, we all been through a long, winding path, Tom. Your problem with neo-paganism. Can I... I'm fucking still recording, right? Can I get rid of that? Oh, no, I can't. I have to do the other thing. So I can go back here. We'll go here. We'll do one of these. And we'll go there. And then boom. We're done. Now I can get caught up with stuff. Right? That would be fun, wouldn't it? We can have a better day tomorrow than we have today.